Mhm. 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 Okay. Good evening now. Please, it's already time now. When are we starting?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session. It's great to have you all here, and I'm hoping that we will have a great session today. Given I'm not hoping, I actually believe it, because given the assemblage of the experts that we have, today is an important one for me because I have two associates, colleagues who have now become friends, who I know personally. Thomas is someone I know personally. Um, we've delivered training programs together virtually and in person, virtually in the UK together, and also I think I brought him to a Q&A session sometime. I knew Thomas as a consultant, and we developed that relationship. And when I thought about who is credible, um, that could be someone who could talk about making money with AI, I thought Thomas is someone I can vouch for personally and professionally. You may be pleased to know that Thomas was also one of our first initial advisors with within AI in Nigeria, and he knows about AI in Nigeria, and I know that he's always following us behind the scenes. So, Thomas, it's good to have you here. We also have Obi Ebuka David, who is also a brother, a colleague, an associate, whatever I want to call it. And we do a lot together in multiple levels. I've watched his company, Autogon, evolve, and I've seen how they focused on Nigeria centric problems. And the reason why I brought both of them, or we brought both of them together today, was to actually look at making money using AI from two lenses, one as a consultant and one as a business. You can be an individual and be a company, but you're a consultant, or you can be an individual who is employing people like Obiebuka David is doing through Autogon. So we are lucky, and it's a pleasure to have them together today. Pascal will be asking the questions. So I introduce to you Thomas and Ebuka. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. Thank you. Pascal, over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody, and good to be speaking with us. Uh, so, so a brief about me, how I started the entrepreneurship journey. So it will interest everyone here to know that I've been able to, or I've been privileged to venture into about seven companies, seven literally, and I failed in three. I failed in three. So I failed. The first was an edutech. I failed. It was doing too many things. The next was an health insurance, and I failed. I was not. I did not really understand the terrain of the African space, especially in Nigeria. I was trying to put the insurance company, the hospital, the regulators all into one softwares and every single thing. There's a difference between understanding the problem thoroughly and you being the founder and having a picture of what you think is a problem. And that's why when investors are interested in your company, they want to really understand if you really, really understand the problem that you're solving and how many years of experience you've been in that niche that you've experienced this problem in the first hand, and not just you be one technology guy who is just trying to solve a particular niche that you don't understand the niche. All right. So, and I failed in three prior to Octagon AI. There was Identity Pass. So there's a sport betting company that does over 5 billion in transaction volume every single month. Still working. So there was Identity Pass. So Identity Pass is still running. Identity Pass, we got into Y Combinator. For those who don't know, Y Combinator is the biggest American startup accelerator company. And we raised over $3.2 million for a pre and seed round. And then we're solving problem with trust between the Octagon AI. So prior to moving from Identity Path to Octagon AI. So firstly, digital businesses to leverage more of their intelligence advantage, and we need to make it very easy for them to jump in. Number one, and we need to make it cheaper for them to jump in. Number two, then also we saw a very major fraud, like fraud in the ecosystem. The finance ecosystem is actually a very major problem. If you look at we are financial that's uh, that's need into complex property from, and yes, um, finance interesting problem for the finance players. So building a profitable startup for those who want to jump in. Firstly, starts with understanding the problem. What am I trying to solve? What niche am I trying to solve the problem? And you need to understand this problem very well, and not you wanting to force down a solution to you understand. Problem agriculture. If you look at food security, you look at education space, or every other sector. And that sector, there are so many niche in the finance space that you could solve problem. If you even look at very high rate of unemployment, how many of you are familiar with NIPS reports? These are not the financial institution. If you look at NBS reports, you see very, very terrible statistics when it comes to unemployment rate. Now, this is a problem. Now, how you see the problem, understand the Nigerian lingua, Nigerian stories, the north, the south, the east, the west. Like you can generate interesting stories, put those interesting video media items on TikTok, and you get monetized via streams, or YouTube, and you get monetized via streams. So understand the problem and go head on that problem, leveraging artificial intelligence as an enabler, as a booster. You just solve that problem in a very interesting way, and you make money for yourself. Thank you. Pascal, are you there?
Many thanks, and many thanks also for the invitation. So my name is Thomas. I've worked for 10 years as a data scientist in a bank in Germany. And additionally, I started as a freelancer part-time to offer Gen AI services and products to companies. And after 3 years now, I quit my job in the bank. And beginning from October, I will work based on the experience that I made and all the clients that I have already now as a full-time AI consultant, AI developer. And what I want to do is I focus on no-code tools because today it's not always necessary to write code to create software. So I was looking what are, let's say, the most exciting tools in the market where you can create, for example, AI chatbots or AI workflows, and which problems can I solve based on these tools for companies. And this is what I did the last 3 years. And yeah, looking to the future, this is what I want to do for now. So that's a very short introduction of myself and also about my personal plans for the future. I mean, regarding the question, which are interesting tools or workflows that could work, I mean, that's not so easy to answer because it depends what you want to do. Yeah? I mean, there are, I think, today thousands of AI tools in the market. And when you look and categorize it, yeah, you have, let's say, the big AI assistant tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, which I all use today. But there are also a lot of other tools for very specific use cases. Content writer might use another tool than someone like me who create AI chatbots for companies. And so I think the challenge is always evaluating the landscape. And my personal strategy was always to find out what are the most interesting and most powerful tools for my specific use case. Then I tried to learn it and offered my services to different people and companies. I always used freelancer platforms to get my first orders and get in touch with clients. And that is how I started and how I defined my personal niche where I want to make business and become a successful AI consultant. Mhm.
All right. So so AI entrepreneurship started basically from the days of identity partner primarily. Um, so we're a young team of interesting guys who came together and wanted to solve problems in the trust space. And yes, so the government databases were available. Um, yeah, we met an existing company back in the day, and that company was just, oh, give me your BVN, and I could just call the government database. And because Africa is a low KYC environment, these government databases are they great? Yes, but they're not 100% very reliable. And we needed to bring in, give our end customers very, very good trust value in line with whatever KYC information we're providing to them. So there was need to bring in very powerful biometric system. So that's where we started the entire journey of. So prior to then, there was the AI skill, but this time around, there was now need to enter fully into the AI entrepreneurship space, building the state of the art biometric system. So we targeted the face, targeted the thumbprint. We even started doing a whole lot of interesting data clustering, data warehousing for those of you who are engineers here. And putting all of these things together, we were trying to build a very powerful identity system that even when we capture the eyes, this goes beyond Euclidean distance. Yeah, let me don't go too mathematical. Yeah, so it goes beyond the traditional mathematical algorithms. So there was need to do state-of-the-art detection around biometrics. There was need to do liveliness detection, where someone cannot just take the BVN or NIN of another person and log in or authenticate into another system. So there was need to pop up a camera and ensure that the person is not placing that camera to face a photo, a static photo. So there was need to build a very interesting AI liveness detection test that could detect the most stealthy kind of attack. So that's where this whole thing started. So trying to solve problems in the trust space and deal in an economy like Africa that KYC systems are not built to guarantee 100% trust. So that's how I started my journey of AI entrepreneurship. And yes, it's keenly in the space of biometric, face, liveness detection, and all of that. And yes, he paid. For those of you who want to ask, did he pay? He paid. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not to have a business where you make a lot of money, but I would say when I look back, when I started quite quickly to try to get the first orders and projects. So for me, it was always better to learn with a project and a real order from a client and not just learning something from a course. I would say yes, start small, yeah, and make your first experience. I mean, my first projects were very little, but the learning curve of that was very steep, and I got the most motivation out of projects that I started in real orders and not just a project on my own. So I would say yes. I mean, start as quick as possible. Start with something where you are familiar with or where you are really interested in. I think it does not must be perfect at the beginning. and make the experience. So my experience is it was a step-by-step approach. I needed now 3 years, but I started as a part-time freelancer additionally to my regular job and built up my business until now, that I was able to quit my job. But the first projects I started earlier than 90 days, maybe after 20 days or so. And then I got more and more projects, learned more and more, and increased my customer base.
Okay. 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 So so there are several problems you mentioned. So whatever you're doing, keep it niched and keep it niched. Don't just build for build sake. Um, if you see five persons who are willing to pay you, um, customers' expression or customers' interest is different from customers' commitment. Someone says, "Oh, I'm interested in this too." Is that person willing to pay you $1 for that particular tool? And is that person willing to pay you $1 every month for that particular tool every month for the next 6 to 12 months? So you want to keep it very niched, have those defined customer targets and build for those customers. But before so beyond this particular customer segment or customer group, there is many more. Like I see, this is the size of the market. I'm trying not to go too technical, but you want to look at the size of the market. Is it a good enough market to keep you busy for the next 5 to 10 years? But while you see the size of that market, and there are different ways to quantify that market, we're not going to go into that right now. You want to have those direct customers that will pay you. In fact, you don't even need to build that product fully. So build MVPs, build in chunks, build the first MVP, have one or two of those customers pay you, take their feedback. You iterate, you add extra feature, get then to pay you. You build like that, you build like that, you build like that. Before you know, you will scale very well. Before you even release the entire product feature, you've really scaled, and not because a lot of times, yes, it also happened to me. It happens to a whole lot of engineers. You go learn the technical skills and all, and you build very fantastic stuff, and it stays in your GitHub repo, and it's just being hosted in one link, and nobody just uses it. So you want to build with the customer, iterating with the customer at every point of the journey. So don't. So when it comes to scaling globally, yes, all of these things, it just starts somewhere. So if it's the 5, 10 businesses, either a B2B, meaning you are building for businesses in mind, or you're building for end customers in mind. But you want to look at some statistics. I think Y Combinator, 72% AI company for 2025, where 72% of their companies that they took in for 2025 were AI companies. And majority of these companies that have scaled over time are B2B SaaS companies. So you want to understand the math, the numbers, and find how to really navigate. But in the global sphere, start simple, start local, scale like that. If that product is very much of a strong need and you really understand that sector, that company at Germany is going to pay you, that company at UK is going to pay you. Say you are solving, for instance, a problem in the travel space, hospitality industry, and if you check Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, you know the number of people that fly every day or people who book hotels every day, a whole lot. And it's also a global thing. People are always moving. If you check the number of planes that are moving on a daily basis, meaning people are booking flights on a daily basis. People are paying for healthcare like almost on a monthly basis. People are eating on a daily basis. So if you solve those problems that on a global scale, if you solve those problems that they are not region bound, it's your product definitely is going to scale globally, like very easy. If it's region bound, it's still fine. It's not a problem. The key thing there is you are solving a real problem and you are making good money, good amount of money, and good amount of money to keep you running for the next 5 to 10 years, even as you have those customers happy. I don't know if I answered all of your questions. All right.
I mean, it depends a bit what you want to do. What I really like is, additionally to the main AI assistant tools, like, as I said, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, which I all use, I really like Notebook LM. It's a tool where you can upload a lot of data sources, for example, documents, but you can also link YouTube links or website URL. And then a chatbot is trained on these links or informations, and then you can create nice things like podcasts or video out of it. So this is a really nice tool, which really impressed me. Actually, I don't know if you can make money with the tool, maybe with a podcast that you can sell, but it's nice to manage a lot of information, maybe for yourself to become more productive. I mean, when it comes to how to make money, what I really like is are no-code tools where you can build AI chatbots for people or companies, for example, to offer it to on a website to your clients. So I like the tool Chatbase. It's a very easy no-code chatbot builder where you just provide the information the chatbot should be trained on. Then you select one of the big large language models, like from ChatGPT, GPT-5, or other tools. And so it's very easy to build a chatbot for a company, or let's say for a website, if it is not too, the data is not too big. So that could be a good entry point, because actually you don't need to code for building a chatbot. It's purely drag and drop. And this is, for me, a very good entry if you say, okay, I want to offer AI chatbots for websites, for small companies, for small businesses. That's quite good. What I also like is Stack AI. It's a more expensive tool, but for larger companies, it could be interesting. And for AI workflows, I used heavily Relevance AI. I can insert the links of these tools, also the chat, after I'm ready. And yeah, I think that are the main recommendation tools. And I mean, if you maybe one last thing interesting is also are the big hyperscaler. Yeah.
People are bringing emoji. I don't know where to bring my own from.
Sorry.
I did not even see myself again.
So like GCP, AWS, or Azure. I mean, these platforms are especially interesting if you want to set up, let's say, AI tools or agents on an enterprise level, but it's more complicated. But this is what I also use, especially GCP. So the Google Cloud is something what I use heavily to run my pipeline.
Okay, thank you very much, Pascal. And before I go into answering that question, I was just writing in the chat. I will coordinate with Thomas to get all the tools he was mentioning. I know quite a few of them, but there are one or two of them he mentioned. But I just want to get the whole list. So Thomas, I'll catch up with you offline. So in terms of the sector that is ripe for disruption in Nigeria, before we even think about disruption, let us think about our life in Nigeria. What are the things that we complain about? What are the major challenges we have? Um, there's a popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So if you're in Nigeria, there's a challenge of power, there's the challenge of education, there's the challenge of healthcare, food security. We still haven't afforded, we've not achieved it 100%. We're still importing some food. So I would say we need to sort of look at solving problems that are local, but potentially also global. So if you think about things like agriculture as an example, everybody needs to eat, whether you are angry, whether you are happy, whether you are celebrating, whether you are fasting, you need to eat something. And agriculture is one of those spaces that most people don't look at because it's not very, glamorous like that. But people need to eat. And when you look at the return that is coming out of that sector, I think agriculture is one of those sectors that we need to look at. Education is another one. Education is another one because let's just take the example of JAMB as an example. When you come out of secondary school, you need to write JAMB. And when you write that JAMB exam, if everybody passed, the infrastructure of our universities cannot take all those students. So there is an opportunity that AI potentially can fill there. Imagine you have a Nigerianized, higher institution that is driven by AI. We also know the problem of JAPA in the healthcare sector, where there's a lot of doctors who are going to other countries where they get more money. Imagine if you can use AI to solve problem in the healthcare system that is even localized in such a way that irrespective of your language, you are able to have healthcare. So I would take these three sectors, which is agriculture, education, and healthcare, because these are areas that, irrespective of who you are, one way or the other, you interact with this sector. So I hope I've answered that question, but based on my interaction with the players in the tech ecosystem, I know these three sectors are sectors that there are loads and loads of opportunities. And I also have experience, especially like Ebuka, in the healthcare sector. I was setting up a health tech company that didn't really get off the ground, but so I know the problems and the opportunities in that health sector. Thank you.
All right. So I think the word affordable is very relative. It's actually very relative. Something that is priced 2 million naira a month, to some it's cheap, and to some it's actually expensive. So are you the one asking the question? Maybe if the person specifies a particular amount, if you're looking at like recently, I was looking at how to capture a large chunk of so there was this statistics I saw some months ago. 82% of Nigerians live below $2 a day. So if you're wanting to capture that particular market, say like in the health space, like insurance, say you're having like a package of a 3,000 naira a month, is that the kind of affordability you're talking about? You want to capture the grassroots guys, trying to take them out of pocket spending healthcare guys. Is that an amount that you're looking at? So if you're looking at that particular amount, the health insurance space works. Um, like Netflix has been in Nigeria for a while, and a whole lot of Nigerians are paying. A whole lot of Nigerians are paying right now. I think I heard is now like 8,000 naira. A lot of Nigerians are paying for Netflix subscription. Even beyond Netflix subscription, a couple of Nigerians are also paying for AI tools. So affordability, if you're wanting to capture a large chunk of, let's say, that large population of people, keep it within 3,000, 5,000. Again, AI is not the expensive thing. It's how you implement your technology that makes it expensive. AI is not expensive. It's how you implement your technology that makes it expensive. AI is just a tool, just an enabler. So how you implement your technology defines the cost of your servers, your partners, service providers, and all of that. So AI is just an enabler. AI is not expensive on its own. Yeah, it's not expensive on its own. So yeah, just innovate, solve problems, and your customers will be happy to pay you. Because if you say a 5,000 naira is expensive, by the time you equate it to someone's life getting meaningful information, it's not expensive. And that person is willing to even pay for like 6 months ahead of your product. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Or if the person wants to specify an amount and a sector, then we can drill deeper on it.
So I'm a data scientist, so I started my business with some technical skills. Maybe one project could be all about content writing. When you, let's say, you can combine something of your own domain knowledge wherever you come from, and combine it with AI knowledge and experience. That could be, let's say, one business or service that you can offer. I think AI standalone is only a technology, but you can create value when you combine it with something in your sector or in your main domain. For me, the most important AI product was always building an AI chatbot trained on company internal data. I mean, this is not maybe the most innovative because everyone thinks, okay, this is something basic, but this is what the most companies does not have or do not have. And it's the most interesting one because if you have, let's say, an AI chatbot on your website, people don't need to search for information, they just ask a question. That was for me the entry of an AI product that you can build. And as I said, I'm a big fan of no-code tools where you don't need to code to build such a service. That was for me an interesting product. What I also offered was AI coaching because, I mean, the most people have experience or first experience with let's say, ChatGPT. but they might not really understand how it works. And I mean, especially with the paid subscription, there are a lot of exciting new features, like the deep learning is one of the feature, or the agent mode. That means you can create or solve much more advanced tasks. And most people do not know that. Yeah, and this is something what I offered also a lot, especially when ChatGPT came out, but also today. So companies and teams ask me to give a workshop or a video call session to really show based on their use cases what is possible with such tools. I think this is also quite interesting too. And I see a high need of these skills, not only in companies. I mean, also I have two kids. Also my kids, I try to train that they become familiar with these tools for their future. So I think it's a good service, or might be a good service for the whole society, and not only for companies. So.
All right. So firstly, um, if I just take this question, if I just answer this question plainly, some people here or Nigerians here might still not believe in themselves. Um, but it's interesting to know from my experience spending quality time in the US and some other countries, Nigerians globally are solving major problems in a whole lot of Fortune 500. Tech sector, health sector, so many Nigerians are doing amazing stuff. Uh, but there's still some people with that mindset that believe, oh, that foreign solution is better than one local solution, or that foreign dev is better than one local dev. When there's still a whole lot of outsourcing coming down here to Africa, Nigerians who are building amazing stuff and churning out these things faster and even at lower cost. So, yes, a major mindset shift to as to many months ago, aside major achievement that have been so there's one in the health sector. And what did we build? We built a very good generative that understands protein structure and generates a personalized drug around the protein structure in less than minutes. Now, to generate that drug, it then calls the experience in the health sector. It calls admits to check and several other AI related libraries on each of those drugs that has been generated. And it's interesting to know that these drugs are interesting, very interesting and potent drugs. So after we were done building this very amazing technology, um, I remember while I was doing the demo of this technology at MD Anderson Cancer Research Center, Houston, Texas, and these guys were very amazed, very, very amazed, even very amazed. And we don't think the especially as I'm talking to you now, chemicals of the generated is person out there. Everybody is making that constant daily effort to solve the next big thing. Um, Google was riding the ecosystem, and they released a transformer model, transformer architecture paper. And the next thing, a lot of people picked up it and started innovating one bit at a time. How many of you were familiar with the first release of ChatGPT? It was wacky, but it was just the dawn of a new era that computer systems can then communicate this time around not with programmatic instructions, but with simple languages that we communicate on a daily basis. So globally, everybody is just trying to figure it out to take one step better every single day. There's no one better person out there. Now, with the interesting thing about the internet, data is everywhere, information is everywhere. You could learn anything, you could build anything, you could build the next amazing stuff in the health sector, in the agriculture sector. You could solve a lot of problems, and you could solve a lot of global problems from your small room apartment at Ikorodu or at Ondo State. So yeah, that mindset shift has to change. We could build the next big hardwares that is going to rival what Nvidia is doing and Intel is doing from African soil, and we could do this thing and compete very well globally. Can we do these things? Yes, we can do these things. So a mindset shift. All those tutorials that you are looking for, now you can find those things online. Those books, those papers, you can find these things online. And if you learn and you don't understand, you could even leverage that chat GPT or Claude to understand these things and do way better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pascal. Thanks a lot, Thomas and Ebuka, for what you have done in terms of what you have shared. There's a popular saying that I don't know if you heard it before, that because there's a gap in the market doesn't mean there's a market in the gap. Yeah. So you think there's a gap in the market, but is there actually a market in it? And there are things you need to think about from an ethical perspective. I always like to use the road sweepers in Lagos as an example. So I'm a Lagosian. So I see these road sweepers, and I've seen them in places like Abuja. I've seen some of them in Port Harcourt. In different parts of Nigeria, we have road sweepers who manually sweeps. Some of them have semi automated things helping them, but mainly manually. To replace them. But from an ethical perspective, how am I going to get them employed? What happens to their livelihood? What happens to those that depend on their idea? Because there's a possibility, doesn't mean there's a market in it. And if there's a market in it, because there's a possibility, doesn't mean there's a market in it. And it was Mahatma Gandhi that said that the hallmark of a nation is how the nation treats its lowest and weakest. So how you treat your weakest in society determines, how great a nation is. So I think basically one of the key things to think about from an ethical perspective is, yes, you have a solution to solve health issues, you have a solution to solve education issues, you have a solution to solve XYZ issue. But this is Nigeria. This is not Germany. This is not UK. This is not US. We have our peculiar issues. And those peculiar issues, yes, you should solve them. But while solving them, we need to think about the ethics of solving those problems with AI. So I think that is what I would want to leave with everybody today, that as you're trying to innovate, as you're trying to create AI products, think about the ethical side of it. Think about the impact on the micro and macro activities that will happen or sort of impact it will have on the society. Thank you.
Uh,
So I don't know if it was really a mistake what I did, what I explained, but when I started, I actually didn't care about the money, because much more valuable was the experience that I got. So my first, let's say, year was the value of the orders was quite low, but I mean the experience, and it's not only about technology, it's also about how to communicate with the people, how to test different pricing levels, what is really valuable, what are they looking for. So it was more the contact to the people, not only making money quickly. I think the value and the money comes later when you get more experience, when you increase your customer base, then you can increase your prices. So that is something I want to share with you. That's why I also needed 3 years until I had a customer base before I really quit my job. So maybe that's one thing. That the other thing is, I think there are thousands of tools in the market, and you don't need to be an expert in all of them, and you might not all of them have to learn. I think it's good to master a few tools, and then when you are good enough into it, start offering your services. Because also for me, I know there when I watch YouTube, there are so many tools, and there is my inner motivation to try them out. But I think the mistake would be to get lost in this universe. So I try to focus on what on the business that I offer, and learn them. And from time to time, I take my learning time and look around and check if there's something else I should take over. But I think focus is quite important. Yeah.
All right. So yes, they are connected actually. So major gaps. Um, so I'll take this answer to the question from the Maslow's pyramid of need. So if you look at the fundamental side, that's the basic needs: food, security, shelter. So we have this as a crisis in Nigeria. And if you look at the food security, we still have a lot of crisis in the area of pests. Um, can these farmers, yes, there's food security, I'll come down to there. Can these farmers make more informed decisions as to the diseases around their farms? Can these farmers make more informed decisions? Like one major farmer was telling me how there's a very high rate of spoiled tomatoes in the Nigerian ecosystem. So these farmers are not well informed on how to preserve these tomatoes before they get a buyer to pick it up. Um, Aside that, even in rice filtering and all of that. So how can you leverage artificial intelligence to aid each of these farmers to make more informed decisions on diseases, on the tomato leaves, on diseases, the soil texture analysis, the leaf analysis, the stem analysis, and all of that. That's in the area of food. Now, if you look at security, now we can't, because we come from an environment where you can't keep all of the problems on the government. People have to solve these problems, and you have to take your own shot at the problem. So you could come up with an innovative way to leverage artificial intelligence to solve security challenges, from moving those items, or from people moving, maybe they're able to report stuff, or like in China, there's now more surveillance. You put more surveillance detection, or you put one smart aware system that when people are in danger, they could easily say a voice command and they could get one or two, or their phone enter recording mode. Like just like this startup that got a lot of funding recently. Was it is it Whisper? So that it could just stay on the background. It doesn't show on your laptop, and it can help you answer whatever interview questions and all of that. So if you look at food, yes, you can innovate. If you look at security, you can innovate. If you look at unemployment, yes, unemployment, you can also innovate by helping. Like there's Kuso. There's Kuso. How many of you know Kuso here? Kuso being valued at $10 billion recently. You can build the next Kuso for job applicants. Yes, you can build the next Kusa for job applicants to be able to write their CVs properly and write proper CVs. Because from my experience, if you open up a singular role, you're looking for a front-end developer, 95% of the CVs you get are whack, and they're just a total waste of your time. They're just a total waste of your time. So a lot of people miss it from even writing a proper CV. So imagine building a Kuso, an AI editor that helps people build their CVs, a Kuso mobile app, and you could build your CV from your mobile phone and you charge people for it. So that's one interesting stuff, and you can leverage artificial intelligence there. So the second question was, how do you get funding for it? So interestingly, you think funding is scarce. Funding is not scarce if you have revenue. If you have revenue, funding is not scarce. Um, within the personalities you have here are some investors. Your family members, some are investors. Your friends are investors. Sadotu Adeoye is an investor. Thomas Weller is an investor. I'm trying to be an investor, but I've invested in some startups. Like even as small as $10,000 will help you, or $5,000 will help you innovate more. It just saves you some extra days of not dying. So yes, it's easy to access funding. But if you now look at the big dogs like YC, yes, a lot of these accelerators and investors, they have their emails, they have the application open. You could apply. One thing that's going to increase your chances of getting those funds is just revenue. So if you have good revenue, even if there's what we call gravity founders. Yes. So if you have a Gravity co-founder, or you're a Gravity founder with strong experience, it's good you have experience about that. Say you now bring in a Gravity co-founder to come join you. Gravity co-founder, uh, say like an ex-Paystack engineer or someone from Stripe, or so. In fact, those ones, if you have a Gravity founder, even without the product, nowadays you can raise funding. Yes, interestingly. So the funding ecosystem is just dynamic. But if you don't have a Gravity co-founder, and you have revenue, you could raise very good amount of money. You have revenue, like not just revenue, you have very good traction. And one way to attract, so good traction, but not good traction enough when you convert it to dollar currency, you can raise from local investors. But if you can position your MRR, monthly recurring revenue, that by the time you divide it by 1540, that's naira to dollar equivalent, and you have very good traction. Say you are doing $20,000 month on month, or $50,000 month on month. Come on, you could raise $2 million. Why still be happy to jump in, even if you don't have any Gravity co-founder? As far as, in fact, that traction already shows you understand the problem, and you have people who are already committed. Like by the time we now look at, aside the 50,000 $1,000 month on month revenue you're getting, was now what has been the churn rate, what has been the growth rate. Anyone who sees your metrics just knows you understand the problem and is good enough to land you a $2 million check.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the panelists. Good evening here in Nigeria. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So, I have a question from Mr. Ebuka. I just really wanted asking if there is like a particular AI tool for video content editing. I've tried many tools, and most times it's not really giving me what I want exactly. Maybe full details, even with a good prompt. And also, I wanted knowing if there are AI projects that tutor and assist people in learning skills, not because I understand that not everybody can really go into the technical aspect of AI, but for the non-technical aspects, if there's any opportunity around this space. Thank you.
All right. So for AI for video editing, so I know the space is still maturing. So there's the Google View. So if you are not achieving, and there are so many, if you just type VEO alternatives, you see so many alternatives on the market. But for video editing, what I'll just tell you, was it not just 3 months ago, I found someone, one very young, passionate guy who was very interested in video editing. All I just did was open Udemy and pick After Effects course. Adobe After Effects, one of the best courses there. And guess what? This guy is badass with motion graphics. So, and some of these courses are, guess what, just 9,000 naira. 9,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 1 week. You learn that course and you'll be very good. So while AI is still maturing in solving different problems, so if there's no AI tool that will do that right now, it shouldn't stop you from solving that problem that you want to solve. Then as to courses in AI, There are a lot. I've just sent you a link to one. So yes, at Autocon AI site, there are courses, and there are just so many no-code AI courses you could find on the internet. And even ChatGPT could even guide you in whatever you're trying to learn. Awesome. Sadota has just shared one link right now. But yeah, you could try Udemy, 9,000 naira course after effect, and you'll be very badass. And even for that 9,000 naira after effect course, you could even pay for Blender. Yes, Blender and AutoCAD, put all of those things together, you create very amazing videos. And each of those components of the videos, you can even generate some of those videos from view and add it inside and do your editing, and you create something magical. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very, very much. I really
Okay, good evening, speakers, everyone. Thank you for this section. So, my question is this: as an AI enthusiast, is it advisable to learn your, let me say, for a data science personnel? Is it possible or is it advisable to learn your skill from ChatGPT? That's one. Then, secondly, I want to also ask for researchers that do use AI tools for research work. Why is it that some of the journals that are referred or referenced are not, maybe if you go detail to check them, you may not find those informations. So why is it like that, and how do we overcome such scenarios or problems?
So shall I take over this question? Okay,
Yes,
especially
please.
about yeah. Let me answer the first one. The second one I didn't understand, to be honest. But the first one, is it possible to learn data science from Gen AI tools like ChatGPT? So what I have seen is that these tools are quite good in the methodologies. So especially if you have questions, I also ask ChatGPT, and from that, what I know that it is right, it was right, to be honest. I mean, ChatGPT and also the other large language models or tools like Gemini, they are trained on a lot of books about data science. I mean, if you ask questions about the latest models, it can fail because, I mean, the training data is maybe until 2024. And for example, if you ask for the latest GPT model, it will not know the latest GPT model, and the answers might be wrong. But let's say about classical data science, and I mean, data science is not a very young field. We have seen data science for the last 10 years and statistical methods even longer. So my feeling is that answering questions about data science is quite good. And what you also can do is, I also use ChatGPT to solve data science problems, because what you can do is you can, for example, upload an Excel or CSV files also in ChatGPT and give your data science instructions in form of a prompt, and then ChatGPT uses the Python interpreter to translate your prompt into code and run it. That works with the subscription mode in ChatGPT, so I don't know if the free version works with that. But ChatGPT is also good in training machine learning models. And you can use ChatGPT also to, let's say, to write, for example, Python code, run Python code, and get first results. So this is what I have tried out. About the second question, could you please repeat it?
Okay, my second question is for researchers that do use AI tools for research. Okay, some of the information gotten from those tools, then if you try to search them, like on Google or other platforms to know if the information are really authentic, you find out that some of the informations cannot be retrieved, especially literature review, where you need to refer to journals. Ahem. Some of the journals cannot be found. So how do we um, settle that issue as a researcher that maybe uses all those AI tools for research?
Mhm. Okay, I understand. So maybe there might be two effects. The first one, it could be hallucinate. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was the case, but the early models, and I had also a case with a customer where we wanted to find very specific papers on topics that was pure hallucination. Yeah, it learns maybe from similar papers and created some content which was wrong. Also, the reference to these the papers never exist. But that was 2 years ago. And I think today when so this is my expectation, when you use, for example, the deep research mode in ChatGPT, which is a new function, I would expect that these references are right. Um, what I have seen, so in my case, it was right, but I mean, I don't know if there are any edge cases where the models are wrong. But I also know that people use other tools for research. Perplexity is very often used for research tasks, and I think Gemini is also quite good in research. But I mean, these tools are all not connected to a real scientific database. Yeah, I think it's only you would also only find a reference which is public available in the internet. If you want to use tools that are connected to a scientific database, I think you need a very specific tool for it. Maybe you should look for it. I have seen some a couple of months ago, but I don't remember who that are. But as I said at the beginning, there are a lot of tools who are more specialized in specific use cases. And for specific research, it might be better maybe to switch to one of these scientific tools and use not ChatGPT. But first of all, maybe try out the deep research mode. I don't know if you know that. It's one of the new features, and then ChatGPT takes a lot of time, a lot of research, and at the end you get a clear reference to the sources. Maybe that works better than the standard ChatGPT.
Yes, I think one of the things I would say is that we should know that there's a lot of plagiarism on ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is not an almighty platform. In case you are not aware, OpenAI went to the American president to ask for, um, a lot of plagiarism to be allowed, like removal of watermarks and all those things. So don't always assume that you will find the references on LLM platforms. And one thing I always mention when I speak about LLM platform is that it's garbage in, garbage out. Sometimes there's been hallucinations and things are made up. And like Thomas has said, not all platforms do the same things. If you want to write code, yes, you can try with ChatGPT, but if you go on to other technically inclined tools, you will get better output. If you want to do research, from my experience, I found that Gemini works very well. I mean, if you try just after this meeting, try to do deep research using ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and Meta AI as well. Your mind will be blown about the quality you find from Gemini Deep Research. It's very good. And the references most times on Gemini Deep Research, when you go on it, you hover on it, the links actually work. They are not hallucinations. So I think, it's important to understand the strength and weaknesses of the different platforms. And the interesting thing is that if you ask, ChatGPT about, what you can do versus others, of course, he will say, I'm the best. If you ask Gemini the same thing, he will say, I'm the best. Somebody told me from one of our communities what he's done is when he's done research, he's not paste that research from ChatGPT into Claude and say, well, this is what ChatGPT did. Do you think you can do better? And then he did better. So that's just on the lighter notes, Nigeria know they carry last. But, it's just a case of we need to understand they have their specialities and just basically let's understand that, hallucination exists. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My question is to us, Mr. Thomas. So, since he gave information on data analysis, I'm a student of data science and data analysis. So, it's just starting up, and I've been thinking a lot about like how to grow myself in it. I've used ChatGPT, only gotten like little understanding on the course, right? So I want to know if there's like a deeper level of how I can grow into it. I've gotten my LinkedIn already because I want to start using my course to start to earn money and yes. So I want to understand more on my course and use it to grow myself. Thank you. Also, and I know that what to use Excel as data analysis, use R, use Python. I want to know if there's any other like platform or apps we can use to also do that as well. Thank
Can you repeat the first question, please? I didn't. Sorry, maybe my English is not good enough. But I didn't understand it
you. All
really.
right, sorry. I said that as someone growing up, like someone starting growing into let me just say AI as general. Like you said, we should use ChatGPT, um, like other AI tools, right? So someone that goes into that, like I said before, I've used ChatGPT, but it only gave me like how will I say it now? Just like the surface information on the surface, not foundational information, right? So someone that is seeking like something like that, like to know more from it, like is there any other aspect or app that someone can use?
Hmm. Sorry again. Maybe it would help me if you write it into the chat, then I can
Okay.
read it, but I can answer the second question. So ChatGPT is, I think, in my opinion, quite good to write code. What I also use right now, and I think right now it's a bit better in coding. I prefer Claude. So from Anthropic. What I think what would not work with Claude is that you really upload your data into Claude and then write Python code and run it directly. I'm not sure if this works, but that would work in ChatGPT. So what you can do is you can formulate your question and get the code and copy and paste the code. But what is really specific in ChatGPT that you can run the code. And especially, I don't know if you have tried it, there's an agent mode in ChatGPT where you can, but only if you have the paid version. So I use the $20 paid version. So then you can upload your data and provide a very specific prompt. And then the agent starts creating Python, run Python, evaluates the results again, run Python again, so it's more in an autonomous way running the code, and at the end you can get a really a report over several pages, also sometimes with charts, so that is quite powerful. But for pure coding, at the moment, I would prefer Claude because, in my opinion, it's more powerful in coding. And then let me check the chat if I can see your question. No. Sorry, if you write your question, the first question into the chat, I would answer it later.
All right, thank you. No problem.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Good evening, sirs. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Can anyone hear me? All right. I want to appreciate all the speakers for the wonderful knowledge they've shared with us. So my question is, as a passionate developer who is starting into tech, what's what will you recommend learning with the learning resources? Should someone learn the hard way or learn with AI tools? But note that AI tool limits someone's knowledge. Just like if you are searching something, it's just going to give you maybe a project research. He's going to get from other resources and just give you the compiled version of it with resources, links, and then quotes by different scholars. It's not going to give you the ability to go through Google using search engines like Google and other search engines to get your own references. It's going to provide you with all those tools to just make it easier for you. So if you use that and submit it, it limits your understanding instead of you going to make deeper research on your own. So learning coding will how will it be like?
So I will jump into this and to
Do you
answer this
understand the
question.
question of okay?
Yeah, I understand your question, and I want to answer it because it's about learning. And learning is about, if you are using AI to learn, it's basically about how you prompt. What you ask is what you get. If you prompt in the right way, you'll get, very smooth, robust output. So it's important to understand prompt engineering. It is important to understand that it's like when you go to a restaurant and you say, "Give me food," and someone comes, the waiter comes and give you rice. And you say, "No, I wasn't thinking of rice. I wanted to have sandwiches." But you didn't ask for a sandwich. You asked for, "Give me food." And the waiter is thinking, "Well, I have a target to sell rice. I'll finish this rice today." So it's the same thing. You are interacting with an AI model. An AI model is like, very similar to the human brain. If you're trying to learn and you're engaging with it and you're not very explicit in the language, in the syntax, in the format that it understands, it will just give you very basic knowledge. So you're trying to learn coding, you're trying to learn anything, you need to understand how to prompt. And that actually gives you a more detailed learning, information in terms of whatever you want to learn, irrespective of what you are learning. Prompt engineering is one skill that everybody is like a superpower now for the AI age. You need to learn prompt engineering. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this privilege. And I really appreciate everything that everyone on the panel has said, and it has really been insightful. So, my question, straight to the point, is first, I'm a data scientist and also a senior data, senior data analyst and a junior data scientist. Yeah. And first of all, I I will actually want to ask Mr. Thomas for he was talking about, and I would like if we can get the like few AIs that actually do this, that you are able to like program using no code or low code. Then also for I'm actually working on a project presently. Normally my projects have mostly be focused on data analysis, whereby I don't really have to deploy or create models. But I've actually created models just to learn while I was learning because I was doing certification courses where I had to create models. Yeah. But recently I'm working on a project whereby the model has already been created, the web app has already been created. We're already in the deploy phase. And I'm having issues knowing the right tool or the right, okay, let me say tool or stack to use for my deployment. Yeah, because the like what we want to do is we want to deploy, but we also like we already did a deployment for free on Streamlit, and we also want to like move it to render right now. Yes, but we're looking for like best platform from a person that has experience when we want to go full production. Thank you very much.
So regarding your first question, yeah, let me repeat my favorite tools. So the first one was chatbase.co. So that's the tool, a no-code tool where you can create AI chatbots and deploy it directly and share it with a customer. And the other tool was stack-ai.com. So that's another platform. It's more expensive that I use for my work. About your second question and the deployment, so I'm not a software developer, yeah, so I don't have too much experience with creating software and deploy apps. So therefore, I might be not the right person to answer it. And I'm not sure if you're talking about apps or models in form of machine learning models. But maybe one last point, what I very often use for easy deployment is vibe coding tools. I don't know if this goes in the direction you're looking for, but here you can create, based on prompts, complete apps and also deploy these apps directly with such a tool like bold.news, bold.new. That is a tool that I very often use. But I'm not sure if this answers your question.
Okay, so for the deployment, I was talking about web app,
Mm.
yes, and also I also wanted to know like some of the AI applications you use for no code or low code. Is it possible for you to write it in the chat? Because I could not read.
Yeah, I can write it in the chat. I mean, this is just deployment by press a button. Yeah, that's completely integrated. Let me write these two tools in the chat.
Okay, good evening, and thank you to all the panelists So my question is to Mr. Doyin Adeoye. Yeah. Now I am an auditor and an accountant, and a man that is passionate in diving into this IT space. So I have a challenge at hand. For example, I want to audit the IT department, and I'm someone that is still green. And you know your auditee will not tell you how to go. They will sit back and want you to display that skill. And it's an environment that they're just introduce you to. So how will I go about it, sir? What are the AI tools that can help me? And if AI community or AI Nigeria is having a tutorial around that, please, I would like to know, so that, because they said knowledge is not free. You have to pay for something to get a valuable thing. So that's my question. And the second one, Mr. Dotun answered it. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. So how can someone belongs to this cis community that you highlighted earlier enough? So that's my two questions, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
There's something I always tell my children, and this is something I picked up from my primary school days. Before you are good, you need to be bad. Before you are bad, you need to try. So there are three stages of learning. There's, you have absolutely no idea. Then you begin to try. Then you become better. So the thing is that AI is a tool, is not a magic bullet. AI can help you to learn very quickly. AI can help you as a new, fresh auditor to be able to sort of catch up. And you know, I keep going back to this like a broken record, like a broken radio, prompt engineering. You need to know how to be able to ask in the right way. And the good news is you can go on YouTube and learn how to prompt. Prompting simply means, it doesn't mean you become an engineer. It means how you interact with AI LLMs to be able to ask questions, or how you can even, because when you go on YouTube now, there's a lot of AI that's been infused. YouTube has always run on algorithms of AI, but it's even gone more in terms of Gen AI. So you need to be able to go on YouTube and other platforms to be able to learn. I remember that Ebuka mentioned about Udemy, and all that. But you can make a shortcut. You can jump onto YouTube and ask, I'm a new, or maybe ChatGPT, I'm a new auditor. I need to learn to be able to quickly close my gap, my knowledge gap. And you'll be amazed about all the links that you find. And you just need to make time for you to develop yourself. The difference between the age of AI and the age before AI is the fact that you have AI to teach you, whereby you spend minutes or hours researching on Google or going to the library. You can just write the right words or the right prompt. You have a learning pathway. It will make you reduce the time you spend in searching for what you used to learn. So that's the first part. You cannot remove the actual sitting down and learning. You still need to learn to become a thought leader, to become an expert, to become an expert auditor. So one, use YouTube to create the right things for yourself. You can use ChatGPT to say, okay, I'm a fresh auditor. I need to get to this level. Recommend a 4-week learning pathway for me, how I'm going to learn it. It will be created for you. How to join AI community. There is the Lagos Island community. I see one of the community manager is on the call. You can reach out to Pascal. You can send an email to that email address. We will tell you how to join. We have many channels on WhatsApp that we use. It's very active, so you have to be warned. If you want a quiet community, it's not our community. Our community is very is very active and vibrant. So you can join. And then when we have a lot of these events, you'll be able to pick up more knowledge. And then you follow AI Nigeria on social media. We are always putting things out potentially that can help you. I hope that's been useful. Thank you.
Yes, sure. It was a pleasure for me to be here. So it was the first time in this community, even if I met Dotun 2 years ago in London. Yeah, and thank you very much for the good discussion and the questions. So I take also from my side a lot out of this session. And yeah, have a good day and good luck with learning AI and good luck for your potential business future with AI.
All right. So while you hone your skills towards solving interesting problems, getting a job, solving interesting problems, try as much as possible to solve that problem directly, like venturing into entrepreneurship. Um, so you can take more control around your destiny. So a lot of startups that you jump in the next time this one has folded due to bad character or bad founders or funding issues. But if you can solve that problem directly, you can make more money and have more sustainability around your life for the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, so as you learn those interesting AI skills, get that big end job, try to solve end customers' problem directly, and so you can own more ownership to your life.
So, to everybody who came to this, I say thank you. I want to start with Ebuka. Ebuka, thank you for honoring our invitation to inspire and motivate our community about, what the opportunities are in the business world. I know, you're part of the family, so thank you. Thomas, it's good to have you to speak. You are also part of the family. You were there at the beginning. We've had a big journey, a few things we've done together. And I just want to sort of, at this moment, just encourage you with the story of Thomas. When I met Thomas about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, Thomas told me that he has a plan to go from being a freelancer to become a consultant, and he's going to quit a job in the bank. I didn't even know that. And now he said it today that he's going to quit his job. Rome was not built in the day, ladies and gentlemen, in a day, ladies and gentlemen. You need to take baby steps. You need to do one thing at a time. Because it's AI doesn't mean that once you start, everything is going to be rosy. It's still business. You need development in the business. You need to do business development, and it takes time. And Thomas told us that when he started, it was not just about money. He wanted to solve a problem. He also wanted to learn. So I think that is one big takeaway for me, and I think for everybody to take away from today. This is one of the expressions or one of the ways that we gather together. We have the virtual AI Saturdays, we have the in-person meetings, and we're going to have a conference in February. So we've had Innovate AI conferences 2 times now where we bring thought leaders. And one of the key things AI in Nigeria is doing is adapting AI for Nigeria. What is the meaning of adapting AI for Nigeria? Is ensuring that we understand first, this is Nigeria, and AI is a tool, it's not a solution. It can help us solve problems. It can help us create opportunities. So today, there are so many things happening within the ecosystem. We have companies now that are now not just one person company. They are beginning to employ people. They are scaling up using AI. We know the story of Autogon. That's why we brought them here to tell the story. We also have others within the ecosystem. We've released the Nigerian AI landscape report last year, which tells the story of what is happening in the ecosystem. The one for 2025 is going to come out in the next, I would say, the next couple of weeks, which will tell you about who is who in the landscape, in the Nigerian AI landscape, the startups, what the government is doing, the opportunities, and the interesting thing is that AI tools are evolving, AI solutions are evolving. Ebuka mentioned something that imagine you take View 3 and you begin to create video content. You'll have a lot of followers. There's so many things you can do, but one important thing I want to share is that your life experience is critical when you try to use AI. You cannot discard your life experience. What you have known in your life, AI will help you to accelerate becoming a thought leader and expert in that area. So thanks for coming, everybody. It's Saturday evening. I know we're meant to close at 8 o'clock, but I'm sure that quite a lot of you are getting tired. It's been good to have you. This has been one of the best AI Saturdays we have had. Thank you very much for coming. For those who want to join AI Nigeria communities, it's AI Nigeria communities at ainigeria.com, or you can just reach out to us on LinkedIn or social media, send us a message. We will tell you what group you can join. Just yesterday, we onboarded some new community managers. Before, we were in about 18 locations, but now, Pascal, how many new community managers did we onboard yesterday? Okay, so we onboarded 30 new community managers yesterday. So some of them are in places like Gombe, like Taraba, like Niger, like Bayelsa, like Delta, different places, Anambra State. So our focus is not a Lagos focus. It's not an Abuja focus. It's not a Port Harcourt focus. We are pan-Nigerian, 774 local government. That's what Nigeria is. Because we want to adapt, AI for Nigeria, not AI for Lagos, not AI for Abuja, not AI for Port Harcourt. AI for Nigeria, and that's what we are doing. But we can't do it alone. So we need you to support us. There's a lot of opportunities to volunteer. And one of the good news about AI in Nigeria is we have volunteers who have joined us, who has gone from volunteering to making money as consultants, because we have opportunities that are coming. Because at the end of the day, there's a saying that money answereth all things. Money does beautiful things. So we also have the opportunity while as you're part of the community, opportunities to make money, opportunities to volunteer. And from volunteering, some of the volunteers have become, employees of AI in Nigeria. They have made money in consulting, and there's always going to be more of this. So thank you very much for joining us today. We are very grateful that you joined us. There are so many beautiful things coming ahead, within AI in Nigeria and within the AI in Nigeria, AI ecosystem in Nigeria. Once again, Thomas, thank you. Ebuka, thank you. I'm very grateful that you answered our call. Pascal, over to you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.